Kanpai.
Oh no, he didn't Kanpai. Because you were moving your neck around, you know.
Okay. I get it. I'm with you.
So, welcome everyone to episode 191 of Kanpai Cast, where we're going a bridge too far, which is a silly title, awful title I came up with because we're talking about a bridge series today. We're revisiting an old topic, but as always, before we get into that topic, we got housekeeping. Are we still doing all this? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could abridge the.
I could abridge it.
You could abridge the D&D.
Sort of like you've abridged the word journey into Junri.
Yes.
So we're on Spotify. Xeno has gone through quite a bit of effort to make sure that we are on Spotify. You can find the link on our website and in the description below. Is that actually in the description? I don't think I've added that. You may need to pass that to me. It'll definitely be in the description of this video and future videos from now on. So if you know anyone that would like to listen to an anime podcast and won't unless it's on Spotify, now you can hand them this link. You can look at this precious link I have. This beautiful little Kanpai Cast link. I've raised it since I was a boy, and now I am giving it to you.
For everyone's benefit, I've literally just linked it to Nasuth again.
Sweet. Again, he says.
Again, I said.
Again, he says.
Again, I said.
The first time he's linked it to me.
Yeah.
So,
it's on the website still.
We're also we're still looking for people to add their entries to the D&D character alignment. So we want to do an episode on that. But we need your help. We need your charts. We need you to come up with your particular alignment grids and be like, you don't have to worry about the characters themselves, just the shows. You can use characters to justify why, but you don't have to justify why. You can just give us a show and be like, this is what I think.
It takes a few seconds to fill out the Google Doc. It's not all that long.
It's a
link
form.
in the description.
Yeah. You don't have to give rationale if you don't want to. Currently, we are sitting on one response. I don't know how many more weeks we want to peddle this before we give up trying. So
if you want to see that episode, make sure you give it to. I've already posted it in. I actually haven't posted it in my server. I should do that. But I posted it in another friend of mine's server that has a very anime heavy audience. So hopefully they will contribute a little bit. But if for examples, you might think that Trigun is the embodiment of chaotic good. You might not. You might think he's lawful good. But you can say because Vash is a lovable goofball who always who's never afraid to into anything. Yep. So that's
now, Chobits is chaotic evil.
Chaotic pervert.
Anyway.
So that's the basics of that. And then of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe. There's a regular audio RSS version if you don't have Spotify or don't care to or prefer something else. We've got Discord links. There's Patreon links. There's streaming links. You can do everything. You can do so many things. But definitely like and comment on the video, please. We love likes. We really love comments.
And it has zero impact on the actual performance of the video.
Probably, yeah, but I love reading comments. They're one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I think that's that. Thaylien, do you want to? I love how Thalien's always the one to introduce these.
Sure. Well, no, I mean it was
his
me that's coming up with a silly topic, so I might as well justify them in some way. So, back about 3 years ago on Kanpai Cast, Loz, Nasuth, and Xeno discussed Abridged series, what they liked about them, what they didn't. And I thought, well, it's been 3 years, maybe we can touch upon the topic again and see what's changed. Because there were some shows that wanted a Abridged series for. Some they thought might go somewhere, and some they didn't. And God, I couldn't find most of them. It was such a weird thing. So I found a place that actually had listed out a whole load of Abridged series, and I went through to find out whether they were still active, what had happened to them, whether they completed or whether they got copyright strike or something. And it's amazing the times and numbers you get on these, because there's actually a Wikipedia of dead Abridged series that you can find. Things like the Big O, Beyblade, and Darker Than Black. And it's very strange to see what a trend this was. But even stranger to see what times people actually started the trends. So I was going through the actual lists of when people started the shows, and there's an amazing amount that are from 10 years ago and more. So I'm looking down my list. I actually put together a list of ones that I went through. And you're looking at 2013, 14, 2011.
Actually, before we get into any of these old series, I have a question that just occurred to me. What do you think about the new trend of people releasing abridged shows that are just shorts?
Oh yes,
well,
so
there's like Sister Leveling. I've seen some Free Ren abridged. You know,
I welcome it in any fashion as long as it's actually a parody, right? Because one of the biggest problems I have seen in like on platforms like Instagram and things like this is the sheer volume of pirated anime content where the individuals are just segmenting an episode and they're putting it up there 1 minute at a time. So you might get like episode 22 of Free Ren, part 76. I mean, that would imply they were 76 minutes long, but, you know, part 13.
No, I'm talking about actual abridged series.
Yeah. I'm personally for it if the platform that is hosting it actually promotes it, which is actually a direction I would love to take the conversation in.
Well, I more meant versus like that versus a full episode like Goblin Slayer Abridged or Yugioh Abridged or DBZ Abridged, you know.
But I think it's down to like the reception, like, you know, does it get the funny ha in the time that it's formatted? Because if the answer is yes, then I'm all for it.
But is it fair to really call it an abridged series? Like, would you really call Sister Leveling an abridged series?
Yes, I would call it an abridged parody series because it takes the content, condenses it, and gives it a parody twist. See, this is where I was going to go with this. I'm absolutely fine with short form videos doing an abridged series as long as it's consistent, as long as it provides an overall of the season, you know, and gives a consistent narrative. Because it obviously reduces their editing time. They can break it up into less wordy bits. They can make the humor snappy and quick. And they can, just for some of them, they can actually make a moment last and have that be the whole joke rather than have to move on to another scene immediately.
Okay, all right.
So I think they can achieve, as long as it's internally consistent to the show as an abridge, then it works, I think.
All right, Xeno, you said you want to take this in a direction. So I guess if we're ready to get into the greater discussion.
So I feel that abridged shows are dying a death. You know, they are very far and few between these days. You know, one of the biggest ones, which was Dragon Ball Z Abridged, ended up getting cancelled, mostly because oh god, what's the name of the Team 4-Star couldn't keep going. And I respect that, right? If you can't keep going, stop, right? Because it was getting too serious and too moody towards the end.
Yeah. It was becoming more that love letter to the show rather than a parody of the show.
Yeah. And I completely say, you know, shut it down, right? But one of the other sides to the whole situation, I feel, is that they aren't able, if the show is left alone and able to operate as desired, right? I feel that the platforms to which you can serve these shows massively hinder the reception of the show. So we're talking like YouTube is the biggest culprit of this.
Oh, this is copyrighted content. We can't promote this.
Not that. Right?
It's
that's another thing.
Content.
It's not that. It's coming out too slowly. Right, so look at right. So look at Abridged series. Look at indie animation projects. Look at Machinima.
Even well-researched science videos often get pushed down in the algorithm unless they're really huge, like Veritasium.
Yes. So typically, and this is my biggest argument. If you are a small group trying to make the funny ha-has, right? Unless you're able to shit it out at a very fast speed, which I'd argue Sister Leveling is. They are coming out with stuff like weekly or bi-weekly. Fortnightly. It's you know, I think these platforms are just going to push it deeper and deeper underground. Like I didn't even know there was a Girls and Panzer or a Guyver or Dead Man Wonderland Abridged shows until Thaylien gave us the list earlier. You know?
Yeah.
So
I completely agree. So here's a direct example of not anime related. One of the bigger creators right now creating content that everybody reacts to is Maxor with his gaming his gaming parodies. If you haven't watched him, he is ADHD kind of concentrate.
Could we take a second to check this, because I'm not sure if I have.
I think I linked you a few of his shows before, but when you were on the Elden Ring bent. So
vaguely rings a bell.
Yes. But he is absolute ADHD concentrate. His earlier videos operated on the idea that if 4 seconds has gone past without an edit, he's failed.
Oh yes, one of those people. Yeah.
Yes. And one of his big fans is the Russian Badger, who does really well edited game content as well. Yes. And he even gets him to voice act in a couple of his things. And he's big enough that he gets people like Iron Mouse and Bao the Whale and all these other famous VTubers to be voice actors for him. But his video schedule is like one video every 3 to 4 months because of how much editing he puts into his shows. And so, even though I'm subscribed, even though I'm actively looking for his stuff, I only find out that he's released a video when I see somebody else reacting to it. Because it's not even showing up in my recommendations tab.
Yeah, there's another really good
in my subscriptions.
Oh, well, that's weird. It should be doing that at least.
Unless this is what YouTube does. If you don't have the bell alerts turned on, so you can just give you a little icon in your corner, it doesn't do anything.
It should still show up in your subscriptions feed, just not your recommendations.
But but the thing is, YouTube developers have turned around to like literally we don't know how the bloody algorithm decides what goes on that subscription. But they don't know how it chooses what any and
honestly,
like even if you subscribe, even if you hit the notifications bell, like there's one period of time where like none of the Game Grumps stuff was appearing on any of my feeds. And I'm like, wait, they release shit daily. I haven't seen their stuff in weeks. What the fuck's going on? You go to their channel and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, they you know, and all of a sudden my
literally
feed was
all of my
populated with their
subscriptions
stuff.
always show up.
Yeah.
But okay.
No, they don't. If you've not been there for a while,
No, literally all of mine do, even on channels that I haven't visited in years.
Yeah. So, but this is a known thing with YouTube, is that your subscriptions tab doesn't show all of your subscriptions.
No, I think you're thinking recommended, but sure.
No, I'm not.
Honestly, I completely back Thaylien up on this. Like, I have seen stuff. You know, when you see on the left-hand side of YouTube, you've got all the channel that you're subscribed to. There's a little blue dot that will appear if they've actually released content and stuff like that. You know, again, I've seen it where like, okay, that's there, but I can't find it in my feed, right? And I'm up to date with that channel. You know,
and you go to that channel and they've actually have released something, but it's not there in your subscriptions from that day.
Sometimes, like the Russian Badger, like he updates, so he pushes videos. Actually, Ahoy, a bigger example. Ahoy will put out a video like once a year or once every 6 months. That will 100% always appear on not only my subscriptions but on my recommended. So it's super weird. But the whole point is smaller aspiring the smaller aspiring channels they get pushed down by a lot of these platforms. You know, like I can't even begin to fathom how TikTok's algorithm works.
Oh god, yeah, or Instagram's for that matter.
Instagram,
that's very strange.
Instagram, I have more of a handle on. It's also dependent on like how many tags you put in the actual description of the video and things like that. Like you have to put more in Instagram than you do on YouTube and things. But TikTok, I think you have to be releasing multiple videos a day, otherwise they do not give a shit and they will just let you rot. You know?
I could believe it.
So that, you know, and that's why a lot of animators like Rubber Ross, you know, kind of fell off in terms of animation. I mean, I don't know if is it Weeble and Bob? I don't know if they're still doing stuff. I mean, they had their own website for the longest time possible because...
Oh, it's just Weeble, technically. He does both of them.
Oh, yeah, fine. So Weeble. But, you know, so many animators just gave up. Like Simon's Cat. Yeah.
Actually, Simon's Cat is still doing stuff.
I've seen plenty of their stuff on Instagram. I've not seen any of it on YouTube. Oh god, there was a stop motion animation channel.
There was just one a few days ago, but okay.
Subscriptions not working.
And yet it shows up in mine. Maybe it's because I'm not subscribed to a bunch of brain rot big channels. You know, I'm more into weird niche stuff.
Oh, because you're not on, like, you don't subscribe to Binging with Babish or Markiplier.
Yeah, or Markiplier or any of those.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Biggest I probably get is like Yog's Cast or something like that.
Yeah, there's another channel
That's
that I
Good Mythical Morning.
Okay.
There's
see, it's funny. I'm subscribed to Markiplier and I don't see his videos in my subscription stream.
There's one stop motion channel that I actually followed for the longest time, which all of a sudden there seems to be a burst in stuff. They're called Animist, right? They would take like Nendroids, Figmas, lots of models, like, you know, figures and stuff from Japan, and they would actually do loads of stop motion stuff that would only last like a couple of minutes. But they just at some point stopped producing anything. No idea why. And I can only assume it's because the amount of effort that went into making it just wasn't driving the views.
That's actually a big thing, especially with anime reaction content, because it doesn't matter how big the content creator is. It depends entirely on the actual animation at the time that people want to watch. So, even if it's a really good, even if it's a really good show, like reacting to Cowboy Bebop or something, people won't watch that one because they want to watch what's current. They'll want to see their reaction to, obviously, Solo Leveling or Frieren or something like that. And so, depending on the anime, it just drops off the radar because people just stop releasing it because of the ability to get viewership.
I think Nasuth may have died.
No, sorry, I was looking. Wow, you might actually be right. So, several factors can go into why your subscriptions aren't showing up in your feed. Make sure you're signed into the right Google account, which you guys are definitely. Make sure your subscriptions are set to public, not private, which sounds like a scam to me, but okay. And then it also says you may also have a large number of subscriptions, and YouTube is prioritizing the most recently active ones. If the issue persists, consider clearing your YouTube app's cache. Oh, well, that's for the app. Cache and data, or try syncing your subscription tab with your phone. Well, I want to know about the website, though, not just...
It's all crud. It's all crud.
Not just the app.
Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway,
So,
right.
I can see them doing that on the app, though,
list.
because mobile stuff.
So I'm just going to pick a couple of things out the list, because it is amazing how far back some of these things go. One of the ones that's still going is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series from Little Grebo. And
now it has slowed way down.
But the date started for that, the first video posted, July 2006. Okay, that is nearly 20 years of work on a single concept.
Yeah.
Now, out of my list, just because these were the ones that were
in
just
that time,
interesting to me at the time.
He also got launched into actual voice acting.
Yes, he did. But there isn't anyone earlier than that in my list here. The closest is 2007 with, let's see, Gundam Wing, the Abridged series, and Sailor Moon Abridged in 2007. Yes. There was a Trigun Abridged in 2008, Shaman King in 2008, and what was that? Oh, yeah, DBZ Abridged, the Team 4-star version, started in 2008, based on Little Grebo's work. Yeah. It is genuinely amazing. I think the one, hang on, what I want to point out, where is it? There it is. It's Death Note Abridged. Okay, there were like 4 other competitors to Death Note Abridged. People honestly, once it started coming out, because this is the one that started
everyone loves
in
Death Note for
2016.
some reason.
But yes, everyone wanted to. And I've put in the thing, a question mark next to the episode numbers. There's 10 episodes question mark. This is because it got to episode 5, was discontinued. Somebody else picked up as a writer for another 3 episodes, and then it got discontinued. Then a fan remastered the original episode for them and posted that. So they got a couple of different voice actors in for episodes 8 to 10. And then they discontinued the official one, while the fan remaster not only carried on for the entire 10 episodes, they've actually released 25 episodes themselves.
Holy shit, I didn't know Shinji was in Tenchi Muyo.
Get in the cabin. Get in the cabin, Tenchi. Get in the spaceship, Tenchi.
Sorry. For the audio listeners, it was Tenchi in a really like head-on pose, like full front pose, wearing a white school kid shirt, and between that and the hair, it looked a lot like Shinji. Anyway,
indeed, it's that same surprised schoolboy face that comes up in the same way that in English-speaking countries, the bowl cut is like the normal hairstyle for anybody under the age of 10. Yep, still. So that one really impressed me. The fact that it discontinued 3 times over its run.
That's crazy.
And then the fan remaster, the editor that did the fan remaster, just took over and started releasing episodes all on his own for up to 25 episodes.
I think one of the biggest hurdles whenever it comes to production of stuff is maintaining your group.
Voice actors, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maintaining your talent, right? Speaking from a place of machinima and things like that. Like I've always wanted to do machinima. I've always wanted to, I love doing this sort of random story shenanigans, these shorts. But the biggest hurdle for me was maintaining a healthy working environment for that talent. Towards the end of the machinima stuff that I did, there was a lot of infighting. There was a lot of people saying, "Oh no, I won't work with that person anymore. Oh, I don't want to deal with that person anymore." I ended up trying to outsource a lot of production to people that would be interested in doing it, and a lot of people just aren't. And I can appreciate that. There's a lot that it takes to do the filming and yada yada yada.
I tried. I really did.
What the hell are you?
I played Neja.
No, I'm not.
In Tactical Terror League. No, but in Animators, I did try. I made sure that I was actually putting in effort when you asked.
Yeah,
I think he's talking about more about the technical side, but
yeah, that's true. But still,
it is still hard on voice actors too, because you've got
lots of moving parts to producing shows like that.
Yeah. Which is why it's been challenging to produce the animated side of Notice Me Senpai,
and why we haven't even started on Overlord Abridged.
Yeah, it's so. Notice Me Senpai is a 2-man band, right? It is me and Nasuth, right? It's like, yes, we have all the amazing people that ask the questions and things like that, but in order to actually
as far as organizing and promoting and editing, yeah, it's all me and Xeno.
Yeah. Each week we spend an hour and a half to 2 hours just filming the footage and waving my hands around like an idiot, but that's about as much time as can be sacrificed by either of us, because it's not just turn up and then start prancing around like a lunatic. It's getting all the VR gear set up, getting our machines networked together, getting OBS to talk to VR chat, checking
angles and distances, and
making sure that the equipment's fucking charged.
Yeah.
And then after all that, getting to do the filming, that takes about, it depends on the length of the episode, that takes about I'd say
an hour,
twice.
45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, well, no. It depends on how long it is, but typically it's twice the length.
Yeah,
how long it will actually take. But then afterwards, it has to be uploaded. The first thing I have to do is basically bloody restart my PC because the monitor won't turn back on, right? because I use the VR, and it's a huge ordeal. It's not a 5-second job.
Issue.
Shut up, you. And we would love
I can imagine.
to have.
I can just imagine how to do an Abridged series. You know, you'd have to isolate specific frames that you want, so you can make the mouths do the things you want. You'd have to isolate the scenes you want. You'd have to plan those out. You'd have to write the scripts for it. You'd have to get the recordings. You'd have to match the recordings up. You know, match the mouth movements up to the recordings. Yeah, it's just. And then if you want to get really fancy and you want to move stuff around that wasn't there originally, you're talking about even more, because you're having to cut stuff out, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest nuclear deterrents with all of this stuff is just the time it takes into storyboarding. I have an idea on how to make Overlord Abridged more viable, and in all honesty, people are gonna like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, it's AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we can focus on this is the upshot of doing something like Notice Me Senpai or Machinimas and things like that, is you can write the script and you are not handicapped to the same extent as you are with an Abridged series, because the Abridged series, you only have the frames that were actually animated by the original animators, right? If you were able to write the script yourself, just completely free of any restrictions, and then you can get an AI tool to say, right, these clips, this range of clips would be suitable for this scene, right? That would make our lives so much fucking easier.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know?
AI used for the parody.
Yeah. Because
that kind of is the proper use for AI, is these really mundane tasks that are just,
well, it's more like these massively labor intensive tasks when you have such a tiny pitiful workforce, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, again, if it's just me or just the three of us, we do not have the time or capacity to go through and find the suitable frames for what narrative we want to tell.
But we're not asking it to make those frames up wholesale.
No.
We want it to
just show us which frames are suitable. Because, like, the last thing you want is a break in continuity. So you don't want Ainz, like, talking in the Tomb of Nazarick, and then all of a sudden he's wearing completely different gear and he's in the kingdom from like 4 seasons later, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so finding the
unless it's funny.
Yes.
Unless it's purposely poking fun at the continuity, right?
Continuity errors? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, weren't we in? What are you talking about?
Yeah. But that's my point, though, right?
Yeah.
And I think if people are able to work on that sort of stuff, we would see a lot more Machinima, a lot more Abridged, a lot faster.
Yes.
I think it also helps that some of them, I think, have a larger voice cast than is strictly necessary. Mm-hmm. Like DBZ Abridged was like four or 5 people. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many are in Goblin Slayer Abridged or Sword Art Online Abridged, but it feels like more than that.
Mm.
And the more people you get, obviously, especially if you're paying them, depends on how fast you can make that money to pay them with, as well. So, like, yeah. Little Kariba was one man, and he did the whole show. So,
yeah. I mean, I think, in all honesty, this is why a lot of animated shows in the West succeed, is because whoever is spearheading that show can basically cover a lot of the voices. Like, Seth MacFarlane was how many characters in Family Guy?
Oh, yeah. Well, at least the 3 main characters, and then who knows how many side characters.
Well, he was Peter, Stewie, Brian, and I think he was Quagmire.
It's Quagmire, yeah. He wasn't Joe, though, and he wasn't...
he wasn't Chris.
But he was a lot of the side characters. He wasn't Cleveland.
No, that's what I mean. He wasn't Cleveland.
Yeah. So many of the little bit part walk-ons were just him, And
I wouldn't necessarily argue against the idea that one of the reasons why they have so few actors portraying these roles is solely because you've got fewer interfights. Like biggest anime infighting of the last couple of decades. The whole thing with Vic Mañana.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah. But you also have the bigger you cast you have, the more you have to worry about things like hardware concerns too, right? You don't want imagine if it was me and you who have relatively similar mics in terms of sound, not super similar, but relatively similar. Yeah. And then you have somebody like Evil Racer who has that not to pick
on someone.
Not him
just
specifically. Just an example of people that have different hardwares that sound vastly different and would be out of place in theory.
Evil Racer, I know you're listening. Don't worry, I'll hit him afterwards.
And we can't all be, Joey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What, Joey Wheeler? I'm joking.
Joey Zero.
Yeah. But again, I would love to have more people help participate in Notice Me Senpai, but the requirements for that is having a VR setup. And that's a minimum of 300, 400 quid. And if you want to replicate mine, that's like $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really had to save for that damn thing.
Yeah.
The number of times that I have walked through VR chat in my little desktop mode avatars, and I've started chatting with people, and they have full body tracking, multiple base stations, all of the things, the latest gear, finger and face tracking on everything, and they say, I say, fantastic, what do you do? And I say, oh no, I live at home, I'm unemployed. Like, how?
Yeah.
Parents.
How in the hell?
And we found some workarounds for some of this, but even then, you're still looking at least $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the next point. Going to keep ringing it back to $400 or $500. Like audio equipment and things like that. I'm like, hell, I would love to have a proper soundproof environment to do it.
Oh God, yeah.
But I will always remember what Lucas Schoenman told me, right? Who is an amazing voice actor. He just basically said, get some PVC pipe, it's cheap as chips, right? Make a frame and then put blankets over it. Like, just get some towels, get some, and there you go, soundproof booth.
Blanket fort.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And it
gets super hot in there, though.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that in the summer.
I always want to pick up as I do have hardware stores and things around the town I live in, and I want to get a couple of bits of wood and some caster wheels to put together some mobile screens that I can draw up next to my desk to have soundproofing on the back of them, so that the noise from the windows reduced, and behind me, so I could put a green screen behind me, which would be nice. Instead of my kitchen, I could have some nice backgrounds. Maybe even take a screenshot of Xeno's room and put that behind me.
Oh, don't.
When he's not at his desk, we could just.
Yep. And you cut the microphone.
Genuinely,
so it looks like
I have that at work
you.
so often.
And the rest of them. So I'd like to actually put something together, but God, I'm poor. I'm going to be a cat dad soon. I've got to save up for that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, I could do that. I always have this synthwave background, but I could definitely do stuff like that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like my synthwave world.
That's the things interfering with doing these shows.
Yeah.
And it's you can't deny, because let me see. Let's just take a rough sampling. I've got about 60 shows that I've.
Yeah, there's so many in this list.
And let's see. Let's just a rough count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
I didn't even know there was an Inuyasha Abridged.
More than a quarter of them discontinued.
Yeah.
Just straight up discontinued at, say, 4 episodes, 6 episodes, 2 episodes. And that's discontinued due to issues with staff or issues with motivation. It's, there's been announcements on those YouTube channels that created them saying, "Thank you all for the interest. I see people are still coming back to this 10 years later. It's not happening anymore." In their like the information on the show is that no, there won't be a third episode. Thank you for the attention to the first 2, but we're well past that kind of responses. Heck, some of them, I like the Gundam Wing, the Abridged series, is not only it's 25 episodes when it was actually going, but even the website that they hosted it on, because they uploaded it to a specific video thing and hosted it on a separate website.
Oh,
rather than use YouTube.
Was it
so
Blip
that
TV?
It wouldn't get copyright struck? I'm not sure, but the actual website is completely gone now. It's been taken over. The actual website has been taken over by something else now.
Yeah,
it's related to a completely different thing. It's actually one of those ones that they've bought the thing. Have just got advertising that redirects to other websites.
Right. Well, it sounds like they let the domain name lapse, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's back in 2012 that the last episode was updated, according to the wiki. Not according to. I don't know where the rest of their stuff is, if there is any, because they put it all together in a collection on this website, and the website's gone. It's genuinely a very, very volatile business to get into, abridging.
Well, I mean, YouTube, video making in general is a very back in the early days. Yeah, if you were able to do it with any amount of quality at all, you'd be making money. Well, at least if not money, at least you'd be gaining an audience, more than likely. But now the market is so saturated that it's amazing anyone gets anything. Aside from a few big people. Yeah,
so that was the thing that really interested me, because one of the ones that's is actually still going is a channel called the Schmuck Squad. And they're the ones that created the parody Seven Deadly Schmucks. Now, on my list, I've actually got a listing of ongoing possibly. And it's from them. All these ones from them. So like Akamiga Kill Abridged, Black Clover SS Abridged, are they doing Sword Art Online Abridged? No. Sword Art Online is
I know I've seen something by Schmuck Squad.
SAO is something witty.
Something witty, that's it, yes.
Yes. My Hero Academia, Seven Deadly Smucks is still technically ongoing as well. Their shows that they're doing are, updated within recent years. And their release schedule for these shows is on the yearly or 2-year basis. So, they have Hunter X Dummer is one of their actual discontinued series. Only got 4 episodes, but it wasn't doing so well. But Seven Deadly Schmucks was updated literally only about 14 months ago. Then they've got, so Kamiga Kill. I think they're reaching the finale on that one soon, if their update schedule is to go by. But they started and abandoned Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Abridged. It's very interesting to see what they're starting and what they're finishing, what they're continuing, because it's, obviously this is what they do, and they have the resources to organize people, actors, editing, and so on. And that's again, even for people that are still going, are still creating, obviously this can be extremely volatile. But okay, here's a picture just to keep it on the topic of the death of. One of the complete ones surprised me. It surprised either of you guys to see it was on there and complete, that they'd actually finished the series they set out to do.
I don't know which ones are complete aside from Hellsing.
Oh no! So
Dragon Ball Z, I guess.
Did you not pick up my link I sent over?
No.
Well, I think okay. He looked at it in passing because you sent it this morning when he was asleep. So
that is true.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
But yeah, so the one that surprised me was Vision of Escaflowne.
Oh.
There's a Vision of Escaflowne Abridged. 25 episodes. It ran between 2009 and 2010, and it actually finished. There were some very driven people behind that one. I can't attest to the quality of it.
Well, but to be fair, it's also
there and it's
only
still available.
One series of 36 episodes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's 20. It's like 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a super again, like Hellsing Abridged. Yeah. Not a super long series to abridge in the first place.
It's a finished story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the problem is that I remember distinctly when the whole Abridged series boom kicked off when
Team 4 started
Abridged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When they were really at their peak after the Saiyan saga. I think one of the biggest turnarounds from that was people just condensing actual complete episodes into just shaving off maybe 5 minutes, and it's well, this is just the episode as is.
It is,
yeah.
Because one, not to throw shade entirely, though I do like doing that. I remember people doing abridged episodes of the Warframe dev streams. Now, for context, the Warframe dev streams were an hour long. These abridged episodes were 30 to 45 minutes, which was what's the point? I might as well just watch the actual dev stream, right?
That saves you half the time.
Oh God, right? But some people would take jokes out of the dev streams and turn them into I don't know, maybe 5 minutes long sort of thing. That's fine. You're taking the piss, right? It is an additive thing to the original, right? Whereas what other people were doing was just oh yeah, I'm just lazily
chopping
transforming,
things out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is a a huge reason why there were a hell of a lot of abridged shows that were, oh god, I don't know how to,
subpar.
Yeah,
basically.
It's the knockoff effect where one thing gets popular and then you have 100 lazy copies of it, you know.
Yes.
That Fortnite became popular. Suddenly everyone was trying to do
Battle
Royales. Yeah. Dark Souls became popular. Suddenly you see a lot of Souls knockoffs, and some of them are okay, some of them are really awful.
Yeah.
Yep. And you get ones like Black Myth Wukong that's just basically a Souls-like, but done pretty damn well.
Yeah.
You know, so you get once the trend has settled down, suddenly someone says, you know what, we could actually do something with real quality about this, and that's why you get some of the other ones like they did with Sword Art Online. That's actually a very good parody. You know, it takes the characters, changes up their attitudes, changes up the settings of what's going on, still keeps the overall theme of it, but then actually puts the effort into making these characters properly parodies of their original characters.
Yeah.
So, but that thing of all of them cropped up so many times when I was looking through. I looked up Naruto parodies, Abridged parodies. 7 immediately on the list.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them got past 4 episodes.
Yeah,
that doesn't
and I bet most of them
me.
weren't very good quality either.
No, and they half the ones I saw were literally trying to imitate Seven Deadly Schmucks, where Seven Deadly Schmucks has an intro where it shouts the character that's in the episode, but with a slight derogatory, like "pervert princess pig with hat, go." You know, and that's the start of the first episode. And then later on, where they introduce other characters, pervert princess pig with hat, mage, when it's a particular character that could be either a guy or a girl, and then snap back to magician, go. And that is done really funny on that parody, but there's people trying to imitate it badly on some of those Naruto ones.
I think part of the thing is, like, first off, do people understand what an homage is? Right?
Probably not. They don't understand what a parody is either.
Can they pronounce homage?
Yeah.
Homage.
Yeah. So it's a case of, like, you know, do they know what an homage is? Do they think they're paying an homage, but it's instead like, no, that's just blatant plagiarism at best.
It's Japanese. It's homage.
Yeah.
So much. Anyway, what else was I going to say when you threw that out there?
So, is it a homage? What is a parody? What is?
Yeah,
you know,
it's so again, it's. I mean, hell, I was there, right? You know, I was there back in 2011 thinking I can make content on YouTube, and then I would just, you know, upload gameplay footage of League of Legends or Minecraft, and like I thought that was it. Like there was,
cringe.
you know, it was so cringe. It was so cringe. But the important part is, like, without going through that cringe phase, you're not gonna learn, right?
Exactly.
And if you just give up, then you're not gonna
Obviously,
learn.
you didn't
You're
really
not
want to
gonna
do it in the
grow.
first place.
A lot of
The only
people
thing that-
want to fly before they can crawl.
Yes. The only way you can actually avoid a bit of the cringe period is genuinely learning and having enough experience consuming the information and the material enough to try and understand things like
But even
what is an homage, what is a parody,
Even then, I would argue that you're going to go through at least a small cringe learning period while you actually get the practical experience.
Exactly.
The theory is one thing, the practical experience is something different. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's people that. So I started out with writing, and very difficult for me because I am dyslexic, and my ability to follow through with stuff is notably not always the greatest. So I got into editing, and that gave me some real insight. Editing stories gave me some real insight into what the common mistakes people make with storytelling are. And I feel that the same happened to many of the classic writers that were around when Tolkien was around. C.S. Lewis, all these other ones that were in that same kind of general class at university, is they all worked off each other in writing to create something that kind of skipped a lot of the cringe first tries at books. And I feel that the same thing is, if I was to sit down and write a book now and actually follow through with it, I feel that I would avoid 50% of the problems because I've had experience of seeing where other people have made the mistakes, but I wouldn't avoid all of them. There's simply some that you have to learn for yourself by doing, and I haven't learned those yet.
I think that I feel that our education system, like globally, right, is fundamentally flawed, right? I'm just gonna say I do want to come back to the whole talking about Abridged stuff, and I want to talk about the copyright side of things, like in a very large way. But this is a soapbox that I will not leave alone. I do feel that the education system globally is horrendously flawed. We should not be having 30 plus kids to a single teacher, because everyone learns differently. Whenever I have had a junior under me, every single time I ask them, right, how do you want me to teach you, right? Do you want me to just talk at you? Do you want me to create you assignments for you to go and do and learn that way? How do you best learn? And they always come up, like, nearly all of them are different, right? A lot of them tend to prefer to do it by hand. They prefer experimenting themselves than relying on just someone talking at them.
Well, you see, because schools are inherently a money-losing proposition, we can't afford to, hire enough teachers to do your pie in the sky dreamland idea of more individual teaching. No. We need to pack them in like sardines. Just pack these students in like sardines to get the most for our money.
Yes. And you have to teach them to pass tests, not to learn how to learn.
Regurgitate the information, don't understand the information.
Yeah. It's like you're only taught how to pass a test. You're not taught how to utilize the information. And I still argue the toss on the fact that, I'm in my 40s now, I'm a developer, I still don't know what the fucking point of quadratic equations are.
Well, that's a failing on your part, but yes.
No. It's like, okay, when am I in a situation where I ever need quadratic equations? Right?
You probably never.
Well, I mean, I can't think of an instance where many people...
You aren't going to be chosen for the intergalactic maths competition.
I guess maybe if you were making CAD software, you might, but,
There's going to be an instance where you don't know two components?
In CAD software? Maybe.
Yeah. Anywho.
Three-dimensional space.
Right. So, a question for you both, and a question to the audience, right? How would you feel if the education systems were replaced with a good AI? Right?
You see, Hillary Clinton actually proposed something like this back in the 90s when she was First Lady. She envisioned learning kiosks, right? Which were terminals set up with several computers which we each link to some kind of pre-created course, essentially. And then people could go through those at their own pace. You might have different types of courses for different types of learning. And honestly, this is a great idea. AI might be a better way to handle it, at least you'd still need these courses in the background. But if the AI could then interact with people who have questions, referencing this course material. Exactly, the language.
Yeah, it's natural language processing that is important.
Exactly.
Well, so I am for this, but there has to be a caveat that the students are still in a social environment, because the last thing we as a society needs is to invite a whole bunch of incels. This coming from like a very big incel himself, but like, my point
I also think
is
it would still be important to have a real human there as well that they could interact with. But then you could have a class of 50 to 100 kids, or like a college lecture hall worth of kids, and one teacher, and everyone's still learning individually.
Yeah. Because you need.
Sorry, this is actually a trend that is happening, and it's being done very badly. Is called unschooling.
Oh, fuck no.
Hold on. In theory,
I know about
this is how it's supposed to work in theory. In theory, it's supposed to be a situation where you where you expose your child to as much of the world as possible, and they pick their interests and you show them more about it. Right? The idea is what you find what they're actually interested in, and that way they will learn that. And the only things you teach them that they aren't interested in are skills they will actually need for going forward.
But in practicality, you end up with kids that have an A+ in chicken fingers and coloring.
No, so there was the thing was that there was the way it's being done, unfortunately, is a form of just free range fucking children, where they will learn about, say, what's the physics of a trampoline, but they won't understand the mathematics of it, or the person teaching them will be talking about gravity from the backing of the flat Earth theory or something like that. So it's the people that are doing the unschooling aren't educated enough themselves to offer full education. So it's like
homeschooling, but even
being
worse.
done very. It's being done very badly. And I agree on the principle of this suggestion, with the actual, with a natural language learning AI to adapt to the student in question on a particular course, especially leaving it in a social setting so that they are still going to meet people and interact with them between lessons, lunch halls and things like that actually will give all students an opportunity to, do simple things like eat lunch, because there's this whole thing to get rid of fucking paid school lunches in America. That kind of.
You mean free school lunches? You mean free school lunches? But yes.
Sorry. The ones that are actually supplied by the school rather than paid for by the parents.
So one of
I just feel that unless you do actually sit kids down to teach them things they're not willing to learn when it's necessary, you will find that largely those systems will ultimately just end up being recursive.
They still would have to. There'd still be benchmarks they'd have to meet. It's just that they'd be able to learn, if one student learns better visually and one student learns better auditorially, I don't know how you say that. Audibly. Then audibly, yes, there you go. Then they would both be able to do that in the same class without the teacher having to spend double the time.
Yeah. Again, one of my biggest things is I prefer learning by doing, right? And it is the best experience for me. I do not like just watching a tutorial and someone's talking at me and I'm like, I'm not learning this way. I am just having someone. There are instances where I do gel with the teacher, right? And it's like, okay,
Yes.
I understand because you are telling me the things I need to hear in order to
In a
comprehend this.
format you can comprehend, yes.
But if it's just a case of do this, I'm like, okay, why? Just do it. Because just do it. I'm like, I just why, you know? So
For the audience, this is exactly why I'm technically still alive, because Xeno hasn't learned how to wring my neck yet because he's not done it.
There's nothing wrong with you, man. Anyway, right.
In Minecraft.
Let's bring it back to
Yeah,
Death
the
of
actual
Abridged shows.
topic. Yes.
So you want to talk about copyright, yeah?
yes,
Yeah,
I
the
do.
big death of the Abridged series is always the copyright.
So
A quarter of these shows.
What do you mean? They always put that a disclaimer at the beginning that's like, oh, this is a fan parody. Therefore, it falls under fair use.
This is one of the biggest problems that I have with why a lot of these shows get cancelled, taken down. You know, it's like the whole copyright infringement shenanigan. And when you're dealing with an entity that is worldwide, like YouTube, and you're dealing with laws that are confined to a country, like, how are you supposed to react to any of this?
Well, they have gotten better at that. You'll see stuff that's blocked in your region. Like we see it all the time on Kanpai Cast videos.
Yes.
We'll get this video is blocked in Russia and Belarus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not a huge loss to us, but there are also cases where they definitely do it's easier to just make something go across the board than to do it on a case by case basis, for sure.
Mobile phones and aeroplanes.
But I think one of
Some
the biggest
mobile phones were known to mess with airplane systems, so it's best just to say all mobile phones have to be turned off rather than these specific ones.
So this is part of the problem. No, don't go down that rabbit hole. He's presented you the hole. Don't go down it, right? But the phrasing. But like part of the problem is that, like, if a corporation, let's say for sake of argument, we do. Oh fuck! Actually, no. There was this one YouTube channel that was a YouTube channel that was all about One Piece, and Toei came after them and just completely shut down the whole channel.
Well, you could say this. You could say the same thing about not technically not an anime, but if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, right? They were so worried about Games Workshop coming down on them, they just stopped it. They just ended. And I would consider that kind of an abridged series to some degree, because it is abridging lore from the 40K universe in a easy to understand, manner. So I would kind of count that.
Yeah. So have you guys heard the ratio of what is supposed to be used versus new content created when it comes to things like parody or review stuff?
Oh, it's some insane number. I don't remember.
Isn't it supposed to be like only 15% of the original is supposed to remain?
20.
Yeah.
So it's 80%. Yeah. So this came to my thing. I heard this from a React content person, as a VTuber called Alicia X Life, or the YouTube was Alicia X Death.
But how do you?
And she said that, I'm sorry for yapping a lot, but I've found out that the legal requirement for this is you have to have 80% review content and 20% the original content. So I'm trying to stick closer to that so that my videos don't get taken down. How do you
calculate that within a Abridged series? Because, the visuals are technically all taken from the show, right? But then you're editing them, you're making them different, you're adding voices, you're doing who knows what else to it.
Yeah,
how do you determine?
The audio's not the same?
How much? Yeah, exactly.
But that's
not using
in part. That's where the lawyers come in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And most of these small channels can't afford lawyers.
Exactly. And then as soon as that happens, gone. Content's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So,
which...
out of my... Sorry, you...
Well, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair in the bloody slightest.
Indeed.
Right?
So, yeah, out of my list of 60, there's 16 shows that have been removed due to copyright.
And technically speaking, the onus is on the companies to prove it.
Yes.
But YouTube is like, well, we don't want to get involved in this, so we're just leaving it up to you.
So YouTube is an interestingly exploitable system because I was made aware about 8 years ago, right, where there was a channel that created a whole load of videos that start off as their own individual music, right? But then break into the full uncut copy of a piece of fair use classical music, right? And then go back to their own stuff. So it's the uninterrupted actual piece with like 2 minutes of their own content either side of it. And they created that channel with the explicit purpose that anything created after that contained that fair use music, they could go and copyright it.
That's how they did it.
Yes. And so then they would copyright strike it because here's our video, it's got this content, we're copywriting it against those people, and YouTube automatically sends the ad revenue from the claimed material to the claimant.
That's
or
changed.
Into their wallet. Yes, that has changed, but that was a known scam.
Exploit,
now it goes into a holding thing from YouTube instead of to the actual. But
for everyone's benefit, this came about years ago. And so to elaborate, unless Thaylien wants to elaborate.
Yeah, I was saying about 8 years ago, it was the idea that they could just go in and copyright claim other people's content and get the advertising revenue from it.
For fair use stuff.
Yes, for what was their fair use. And it got worse than that. There was one company that named itself something like Wizards Coast, not Wizards of the Coast. And they went around copyright claiming literally anything that they felt like. And then they would let the original creators dispute it and get their copyright back and remove the copyright strike against their content every time, because it didn't matter. They just went around and copyright struck popular things because right as that advertising was getting to its highest peak, it would go into their pocket instead of into the creator's pocket. Now that's why YouTube have changed that system up so that the advertising goes into a holding thing. But that's, again, these scams were everywhere.
So one of the craziest things was, that I know of in this instance, was the content creator Captain Sparkles, also known as Jordan. He did a Minecraft parody of Gangnam Style and had 3 individual copyright claims from Sony, right? 2 of which weren't Sony.
Channel.
No. Just nukes the revenue from that video, right?
Oh, just claims, not strikes. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is that people would target. So you could get people that were pretending to be X company, right? You know, multiple of them at the same time, which was just like, this is a huge flaw in the system.
And YouTube didn't care to check, you know.
But another part of the problem, another part of YouTube's problem, is the strike system that Nasuth just highlighted. If you get 3 strikes, your channel's deleted. Just flat out deleted. So when people would get copyright struck for music used in their whatever content, they would they would be very fearful of uploading any additional videos until those copyright strikes were removed.
If it didn't destroy their entire channel completely, which, you know, sometimes it would be like, this channel is no longer available due to violating our our policies. Yep. That would happen.
So,
it would happen, 100%.
A great example of the multi-copyright strike thing is always the ever famous for it, MXR Plays. Now, because he started off as just a channel that reviewed like mods for Skyrim and things,
right?
You know, and then he moved more into React content, where it was reacting to memes, to Vines, then TikToks, as it went on. His channel would repeatedly get strikes for content that had already been up, not new videos. People were going back to his old stuff and giving him copyright strikes or community strikes against that to try and get his channel taken down, and eventually, you know, succeeded in getting his channel deleted a couple of times. But, you know, appealing directly to YouTube themselves.
Yeah, YouTube holds on to this stuff for like 90 days or 6 months or something, I remember.
Ended up reinstating it until the very last time. And what really amazed me is that they've been on another site for a while now. It's not, I think they've been streaming rather than uploading to YouTube. And there's a guy that's literally going and clipping half hours of their VODs and uploading them as if it was him and getting ad revenue from it.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No. And so they actually had to come back for, like, set up a fresh account and a fresh thing to be as the official MXR Plays. Specifically to put out a video that says, that's not us, we're not doing that, you know, please come support us on this site because we're not here anymore.
Can't they get YouTube involved for impersonation? I'm pretty sure they can.
Yes, they can, and they did.
As long as they know about it.
The guy just started up another channel.
Of course, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got apparently
I don't have an infinite number of email addresses.
Yes, they've taken him down 4 times or something for using their stuff without permission, because it was quite clearly it was their Twitch VODs. So, or you know, their other Kick or something else, right? So they could prove that it was their content from another site, and YouTube doesn't look kindly on other sites getting clipped and put onto theirs without permission, because that if that happens, the other site will get involved instead of just the creator.
You know, this is
and that YouTube doesn't like that.
Ayaka, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's Ayaka.
Okay, I'm pretty sure she was supposed to be sleeping with her head on a pillow there, but I swear to God, it looked like it was a blood splatter. Like she had her head smashed on the ground.
I didn't think that myself.
The heavy shadows, yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That's that snap scare from 2B Hero X.
Oh God. But so going back to the whole copyright thing, I feel that 20% of the original must remain is or the maximum that that can remain. I just feel that that's too low a number by like
I think 20% is fine. I think the problem is that it's there are no real guidelines of what counts as a change. What counts as as original content versus
I think like one point is okay. Is the dialogue consistent with the original, right? Are the audio lines the same as the ones provided by the original? Is the footage the same as the one provided by the original? Is the sequence of events the same as the original? And like the problem is that because the footage is the original footage, right?
Yeah, they usually just count that as a pure 50%.
That just puts you so much on a back foot from a parody point of view, right? I remember that it was in the first season of Family Guy, they had a parody of Spider-Man, right? And it was supposed to be everyone gets one, right? Spider-Man was orange and purple, right? Didn't have the webbing on him. I can't remember if he had the spider on his, and it was supposed to be like they had to change it that much, for it to be a joke. And it's like the guy's even named Spider-Man, and it's just like this is ridiculous. This is copyright taken way too far, right? But when you're dealing with an abridged series and you're using the original footage, right? You're so much on a back foot. I really feel that 20% needs to be
But no. The argument here is that you clearly need to hire your own animators and animate this stuff so that it's similar but not the same. That's the actual solution.
Sorry, AI, what?
Well, yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah.
So I did
but
find
I agree with you that I think copyright laws are behind the times, and they always are. They always have been.
Oh yes.
And they're also heavily favor companies as opposed to the artists.
Well, they favor whoever can afford it,
which are generally companies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So at least it's not. We haven't had the scare of the copyright registration thing anymore.
What?
We've managed to get that out of our systems, out of the collective zeitgeist. The idea was that. The idea was that they were trying to push bills into both the UK and America.
Oh, is this SOPA and
yes, that's first.
The
They say
one?
the Stop Online Piracy kind of act, and what those would do is force there to be an actual place, privately managed, that held the copyright for anything you create.
I mean, is that really so different than patents?
Hold on. Imagine that, but it's not specifically
not a public registry.
A copyright registry. It's a privately run archive, so anybody can set one up, right, and compete to get copyrights registered.
What the fuck?
Right? Hold on. It gets worse. And the reason they wanted to set it up was specifically so that companies could go online and use somebody's copyrighted material and say that they did a reasonable search for the person's registered copyright, and then not have to pay any fines for using the copyrighted material.
Oh my fucking God.
There you go. That's where it gets really bad.
So the whole idea was that they could go to any one of those privately registered, private copyright registers and say, we searched the whole thing.
Your own original animation, and you weren't able to pay to have it registered in one of these private places, then you're shit out of luck. Yeah, exactly. That's where it's bad.
Better yet, there was an allowance in there built into this that somebody else could go and register the copyright with somebody else, with one of the other registry systems. So if you've not registered with all of them, somebody else could register the copyright for your created thing with another company.
That's ridiculous.
And claim they own it.
That's just fucking ridiculous.
Yes. So that whole system, we've managed to get past it. We've managed to beat that out of the politicians. For now. But that's the kind of situation that the companies want there to be with copyright.
There was this big push, right? God, which election was it in the UK? Which was gaining a lot of traction with yes, this was it. It was to do with depictions of violence towards children. Right? This is in the UK specifically. Huh?
I thought you were going to do the meme one that the EU is pushing. No. It was going to essentially make memes like impossible.
So this was around David Cameron's last election, right? With the whole UKIP and Brexit kicking off and everything like that. So I can't remember what year that is, but the whole thing was that they wanted to stop depictions of violence towards children. Now, a lot of charities use images like this to incite people to donate to the charity, like the RSPCA. No, sorry, the NSPCC. Sorry, I got that wrong.
National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children.
Yes, and you know, when you got news stories and things like this, so like companies like the BBC, the companies like the BBC wouldn't be able to report the news on these things and all sorts of stuff. And it was gaining a lot of positive traction. And then...
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Very much so. And then Cameron opened his fat mouth and then started suggesting, we should censor the internet entirely and prevent people from going on adult content websites and all sorts of crap like this. And it became if you want to turn off this filtering, you have to contact your internet service provider and ask them to turn it off, right? So it was an opt-out, not an opt-in. And as soon as the whole adult content thing came into light, it just got shut down entirely.
Meanwhile, over here we have several states that now require you to input your show age verification on those sites.
Well,
give up all your personal information.
They're talking about doing it again in the UK, and it's just like, can we just not? Can we not please?
Yeah, exactly.
And I want there, right? This is my recommendation. A single service, right? That is run in, I don't know, some island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, right? And literally what it does is it's a registry where any website, free of charge, can have their content audited and a certification be presented. Then,
I have a better idea. How about all porn sites have to register as a .xxx? We create a new domain name, .xxx.
That's never going to work.
Why?
It's never going to work.
You just block that domain if you don't want to see it.
That TLD already exists. And you can have multiple TLDs to any website.
Okay, but they have to. They have to only use .xxx if they're a porn site.
Who's going to enforce it?
Countries.
Yeah.
See, my point is, if you have a registry, you can get your internet service providers to talk to this registry completely free of charge, right? And you, the user, can say, this is the rating registry of content. Huh?
No, yes, the domain name registry. Yeah.
No, not domain names.
Yeah.
Right?
.xxx.
Right?
Specifically.
This is content. This is like when you're going to the movies, right? They have a certification on the movies. No, they don't.
Just add this to the domain name registry.
What domain name registry? Nasuth, do you have any idea how many domain name registrars there are? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, that's like talking about these copyright registries, Nasuth.
Yeah, there's thousands of domain name registrars.
Yeah, but you just make it standard. So they, if they don't do it, it doesn't work. Well, how is Xeno going to enforce his?
No. It's an opt-in system on the internet service provider. So you turn to your internet service provider and say, don't let anything through that does not have a
so you turn to your internet service provider and you say anyone that doesn't come from these domain name services.
Again, that is dependent on whether or not the company actually sets up that you could say .tv, you could say .as. Do you know what .as is?
Yeah, but I'm saying you only accept it from the ones that actually go through this process of verifying. That way you don't have to set up a whole new registrar. You just my god. The same people that you're talking about, Z. I'm just talking about condensing it.
No, I'm saying a whole new company.
You shouldn't need a whole new company. That is just adding complications to things.
You kind of do. Because the ones we've got at the moment are all over the place.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Anyway.
Neither here
We
nor
are
there.
right off
Xeno's
topic.
pie in the sky dream is never going to work.
No, it's not,
with that
because we've
attitude.
got too many things already that's trying to do the same thing and fail.
Movies one works.
We should have
Right,
bridged that last
kind of.
conversation.
Oh,
Yeah, we should. Oh, yeah.
right.
So Bleach S Abridged had like 5 other competitors, but this one actually succeeded. It got 30 episodes out and 2 movies. And it completed its run in April 2017. But it's no longer available because it was removed due to copyright after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Nintendo were really bad years ago. Well, yeah, probably about a decade ago. They were awful for any Nintendo product on YouTube would instantly get taken down. It took the
But
Game
this
Grumps fucking
This is like another
years.
case of how do you determine how much of it is original content?
Yes.
Because every
How
gameplay
much
is
is
definitely
parody?
different, but it's also
but it's-
you're putting in the effort to play it, and if you're commenting over it, it's even more like.
But I would argue that oh shit, the gameplay and stuff like that is like leagues more than 20%. You know, you're probably closer to like 85 or 90% of the original content of the game is the video itself. Like, you know, me playing Expedition 33. Like, you've got a little picture of me in the bottom left-hand corner. I do the odd gasp here and there. You know, I'd shout
And
at
even
Nasuth,
if your
plop,
gameplay
plop,
is
plop.
different from somebody else's, you're still you're still constrained to what the programmers have given you to work with, essentially.
Yes. This is why I feel that video games at least have an edge on parody content, because video games see it as advertising.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So video games see people playing their game and spreading it to other people as advertising. And
Whereas
that's what
parodies are
parody
often
should
seen
be.
as
it's
detractions
mockeries.
to the original. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Damaging to the brand.
Interestingly to say, because we brought up Nintendo, I looked through the Pokemon parodies. There is not a single uncopyright removed Pokemon parody from the period between 2010 and 2015.
Sorry, to make sure I
So-
understood that correctly. So
No double
every
negatives,
Pokemon
please.
parody,
Every
Pokemon parody has a copyright.
every Pokemon parody that was produced has produced at least one episode, as
Yeah.
opposed to just a trailer for it, between 2010 and 2015. Doesn't exist on the internet anymore. It's been
not
removed due to
surprised.
copyright.
But I don't.
There are a couple that started in, say, 2015 that I went to their YouTube playlist, and they've got, say, 10 episodes listed, but 3 of them have been removed due to copyright.
But I
As
don't
in actual
think-
grey box blank screen. Because they managed to get enough of a difference, but they've already been claimed due to either the music or visuals or something.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't think Nintendo is actually involved in any of the TV series. So the
no,
companies
but
that
I can
you're-
imagine the Pokemon
No,
company being
that's-
very litigious on it.
Yeah,
I mean, look what they
the
did in Owl
Pokemon
World.
Company. Yes,
I mean-
the Pokemon Company as opposed to Game Freak or similar. So the entity that has become the Pokemon Company officially worldwide does an awful lot of things. And I believe that's when they first became active, is around 2010, wasn't it?
I don't know.
So they were very, very aggressive. And it was interesting to see because not one of them got past like 3 episodes in that time of these parody creations. Obviously, people wanted to create them. Obviously, people wanted to love it, but they just didn't survive being on YouTube.
I would love to see attempts at doing an anime abridged with the assistance of AI and seeing how transformative it can be in a timely manner. right? I'm not necessarily saying that it has to be completely redrawn. I'm not saying that it needs to be turned into a live action. I'm not saying any of this stuff, right? But I'm interested.
Straight down to 20% of the screen. Flip it around. Flip it the opposite direction. Warp the colors and distort the sound. And there you go. Done.
Yes.
But my point is, like, because a lot of these projects, they're huge. They're absolutely monumental. And I'm just wondering, like, how... I feel it's a dying art form.
Yeah.
Right? Like, stand-up comedians can't make half the jokes that they used to 10 years ago. Right? TV shows, same deal. They can't make the same jokes that they used to 10 years ago. And, it's absolutely baffling. The amount of homogenous slop that comes out of the West is just, dear God. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of isekai stuff that comes out of Japan that's just slop. But I'd be really interested to know.
I think that's due to more to laziness than anything. Because I think there are still comedians that are really funny. And unique that aren't making the types of jokes that they would have 10 years ago.
True, but at the same time, I haven't seen a single short where it's a big crowd or even a decent sized crowd where the comedian isn't heckled by some asshole.
Oh yeah, but that's pretty standard in comedy. You'd get that stuff even back in the 90s on comedy specials and stuff.
Heckling is actually one of those things that they now use as a thing. So it's part of the crowd work section now.
Well, they've had to.
They've had to take hecklers now on board and expect that. And so they often give them those times. So, I believe there's a couple of, who's a good one? Is it Steve Hofstetter? He loves interruptions because he goes into red states in America and talks about things, about topics that are left wing or left leaning, and specifically so that he can get these reactions. And that's a whole bit is he gets hecklers and he just uses comedy to put them down very, very
Dressed
quickly.
To Kill. I would have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure in Dressed to Kill, Eddie Izzard had a couple of hecklers that he just kind of rolled with.
Oh yeah. Heck, Jim Carrey in his original stand-up one had hecklers.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey used to be a stand-up comedian before he became a movie actor.
Didn't know that.
And still was after the first one. He was still on tour up until Ace Ventura 2.
Right.
Yeah, he used to be on In Living Color too.
He had really good physical comedy. He used that to his. A particular bit I will never forget where he just he says, sometimes I go to a bar and I just want to make my intentions really, really clear, and I just walk. I go and you go like this, and he leans himself backwards so far that his body is horizontal. He's limboing, and so he's looking over his own chest. He's got the microphone up here, and he waddles across the stage and says, "Excuse me, hi. We haven't met yet, but my crotch would like to buy you a beer."
God.
And yeah. and so you're presenting. It's just, but he had hecklers, and that's a long time ago when you stop and look at it.
Yeah. So it's that's been pretty standard in comedy, but you're not wrong that the comedy landscape has definitely changed.
So I'm interested. I'd love to hear what people think. Do they feel
is
that
Abridged series dying? Our Abridged series dying? Is our children learning?
I honestly, in terms of machinimas, when Red vs. Blue kicked off, there was a huge influx of machinimas. Now they're basically none.
There's a new season of Red vs. Blue coming now that Bernie owns it again.
I'm not surprised, but I don't know if it's going to be any good.
Well, this is the first one Bernie's done since 5 or 6 6 or 7, something like that.
Hmm.
So
But anyway.
who knows?
knows?
Heck, there's even going to be Ruby coming back, considering that one of the original owners of Rooster Teeth bought the rights to it back again.
I think that's still Bernie. I think that's also Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's bought most of the rights to the shows that Rooster Teeth originally created, so that under a new company they can actually do something.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's
Yes.
move on. Let's move on to the supporter questions.
Any final conclusions besides that, or is we just?
I would like to hear from the audience on what obscure parody show, obscure abridged parody show you guys have seen that you think we might not have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
especially if it's
have you
still
seen
going.
them, or did any of the shows that we raised surprise you that there was an abridged series?
Yep.
You know, because I
Thaylien
certainly
Moon.
surprised these two with a couple of them. And what abridged series would you most like to see that we haven't talked about?
How can we get a
was a
bridge
big one,
series to
actually.
come back?
Yeah.
And update faster, like Sword Art Online abridged.
Yeah, because I think Sword Art
Yeah.
Online gets, one a year, maybe 2 a
Seems
year?
like it.
Yeah. But then so did Hellsing, and that was fun. Because that was Halloween
Yeah,
every
but
year.
Hellsing's
That was
only
a
like
great
what?
one.
6 episodes?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
Moving on to the supporter questions. First of all, Zrugel asks, now that we're in the supporter questions, supporter question, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Zrugel said that. Right. Now that we are at the supporter questions section of the show, I need to ask Nasuth if you remember to hit the record button. No.
Oh, no. Yes, I did.
If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Please take a second to hit those like and subscribe button. Alright. Zrugel asks, what emoji do you use the most when texting?
Probably the
It's a
XD.
toss up between... What?
Probably the XD.
It's a toss up between sweat, smile, or thumbs up.
Fair enough.
I do also do a lot of saluting,
don't-
yeah.
I don't tend to use actual emojis. Although, if I'm trying to convey happiness, I'll do the double up till that looks like somebody, with smiley eyes closed. And
Sure.
that's about it. I don't use emojis as a rule.
Right. Ryan Cuscus plus coffee equals not null asks, I also need to ask Nasuth if you checked Thalien's audio. I'm not Gumby, so I don't have to ask about Nasuth's audio, and literally no one expects Xeno's audio to be bad.
I had such a hard time not actually changing this to say expect Xeno's audio to be good. So you're welcome, Rai. You're welcome.
What emojis have you literally never used?
Probably one of
99%
those
of them.
weird. Probably either one of those weird symbols or one of the just about any of the flags.
Yeah, I was
Just
about to
about
say
it.
any of the
Flags,
flags. Right.
I'm sure I've used a few.
Actually, I think the only flag I've ever used was the Japan one, which is what I set my status to on my work Slack. It was just the Japan flag. Right. Nasuth Taicho asks, I've got to ask Nasuth why Nasuth wrote this in the third person. Is Nasuth okay? Has someone checked on Nasuth lately? We try not to.
Yeah, he tends to try and grab for attention sometimes. So
Right. And then he also asks, what emoji would you turn into an anime?
Like the Emoji Movie.
Oh,
But an anime.
God. What's the oh God. They have one which is actually one of the Japanese masks. It's the one that
the no mask.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Fair
There
enough.
you go.
Reincarnated as a no mask emoji in a parallel world.
I would change the
Now
water
I've lost my
droplet
mobile
one
phone.
into an anime.
Cool, and now it is time to move on to the comments
Oh.
from last week's episode while my headset battery is dying. So
I didn't check this morning to see if Strombus had actually left anything.
First of all, we have the comments from the news, and Strombus Shell says ... Waiting for Nasuth's internet any second now.
Or YouTube, one of the two.
Any second. So professional.
So many seconds.
Yep.
Much.
Well, I checked yesterday.
Your prostate.
Come on.
Oh my god!
Come on.
Is it me or is YouTube getting slower?
I think YouTube is getting slower. Hey,
slower.
we do have a comment.
Okay. News, but also rumors. That 4 words. So that's 4 words. So I need a couple more to comment. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we can ignore the rest of that one. Right.
Get the comment threshold.
Zrugel says new.
Just the one.
Sorry to hear you guys had to re-record. Thanks, Nasuth. I'm still not sure how I feel about the Elden Ring live action.
We're not sure either.
Yeah. The rest of the news was a bit of a blur. That was a fast 27 minutes. Not gonna lie, I completely agree with you. Thanks for the news, guys. Right.
I think we were excited to get through it as fast as we could.
We were under pressure.
Stop! Why?
Moving on to the comments from...
That's not the right video.
Go back.
Where did it go do that?
Fuck knows. YouTube likes to fuck with things, right? So...
What I told you about calling me that?
Moving on to the comments from the cast. Zrugel says, Log Horizon is a great example of a second season bust. I love season 1, but season 2 was a chore to watch. Although I think I could rewatch season 1 again and just pretend season 2 doesn't exist. You say that. A show I want a second season of is Handyman Sight Out in Another World.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That is not my favorite, but I'm going to pick a random one from that long list. That's fair. Memes made me laugh. Thanks for that. Great show, guys. And then from Strombus Shell, I feel like you guys did well not to interrupt each other. Gonna give you a gold star this week. Anime I wish didn't get a second season. Sword Art Online. Not that I liked the first season. I just wish it hadn't had any subsequent seasons.
One of us.
Nasuth.
One of us.
I just realised we've just in Notice Me Senpai we gave Xeno a silver disc. He didn't quite earn a gold star in that one, so he's got his gold star.
Nasuth answers. Nasuth's answer to the unethical science project supporter question concerns me. That's a lot of people, dude. You can disagree with people, that's fine, but unaliving half a country is small mustache German man territory. Not saying I was offended or anything. Just want you to have a healthy mind. June is men's mental health awareness. I swear I remember you saying unaliving out at some point. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. That's fucking bollocks. And I want us all to know...
That's why it exists, because you think it's bollocks.
Sure. And I want us all to know it's okay not to be okay, but also it's okay to reach out. Blame Nasuth.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good sentiment.
I'm very aware of my mental health, but I am doing nothing to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to Pride Month? Like, are we just going to?
It's still happening. They can both be things.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
Right.
Memes?
So, meme time. Everyone loves the memes. This is where we bring in the good energy, the good vibes, the happy, fun laugh times. And you can help us have the happy, fun laugh times by joining the Discord and dropping your meme submissions into the meme submission channel. We take up to 6 of them a week to have fun and look at. And we got 5 this week. We don't have a full 6. We only got 5. If you had joined the Discord and dropped a meme in, you could have made it a full 6. What's wrong with you? Can't believe you did this to us. Anyway, viewer meme number 1.
I call yourself a sailor. You ain't even got a boat. Okay, you can do it, Anthony. You got the better
I ain't
accent.
never seen you get rig a jib or weigh an anchor, haul a forbearance or something. You're half legs and you ain't got an ounce of sea in either of them. I reckon you don't know your leewards from your steadwards, starboards from your larboards.
Okay.
I say, girl.
Because she's a sailor moon.
No shit.
Moon.
Yeah, I get it.
I say, boy.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is the actual artist that drew the art. Like, yeah, somebody was
she's
saying,
got her arms wrong.
"Oh, real girls don't look like that in real life," and then she'd post pictures of herself looking exactly like that in real life.
I mean, close
in the one
enough,
on the
I
left,
suppose.
she's taking the top off, and she's not taking the top off in the one on the right.
But no, there's some other. Anyway,
Next
close enough.
one!
Close enough.
Christ.
I'm
Close
enjoying
enough.
that one. Stop it.
Close enough.
Yeah, I know you are. A bit too much. So, are we fighting or flirting? My hand is literally wrapped around your neck. That doesn't answer my question.
No, it does
Could
not.
this be one of my people?
It's only Thalien's people. The relationship between Musk and Trump before and after.
And after.
Yep, not wrong.
I cast iron.
Oh, that is topical. Although by the time this comes out, who knows what the relationship will be. Britain. Fine, behold how happy we look as a couple. In this photo. Britain, her colonies. Good use of
Well
Inspector.
done, Inspector.
Good use of Inspector. Right, on to my memes. The evolution of religion. Shiny things in the sky. Cats. People in the sky. Less people in the sky. People who say they came from the sky. Cats again. And then the almighty dollar. And finally, cats.
Cats.
This is a religion I
relate to this very, very
I
much.
think that's cat girls, but, you know.
Yeah, close enough. Oi, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Wow.
Mother Ducker.
There were a lot of those about Freered and Tanjiro this week. Hell, what are you doing? Hello, Light. I am shitposting. Shitposting? Indeed, shitposting. I'm cooking up something for r/animemes. The mods are getting tired of incest and horny posting. We could come up with a novel idea or do something meta. What's a meta? I don't know, Light. What's a meta with you?
Oh, my word.
I could take 4 of you at once. In a fight, right? In a fight, right?
Oh my god.
Frankenstein Summer, what is your wisdom? Did you know that morgues prefer to hire women for exactly the reasons we all think?
I did not know this. I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is,
Exactly.
actually, that strategy still doesn't work.
Moving on.
Yeah. Rigor mortis is Anyway,
Moving on.
Last one's.
He is called internal pointer variable. He is called internal pointer variable.
Oh my god.
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's I wanna be the very best. No one ever was.
Is that not the right one?
Video, but
Is that mine from one of the previous weeks?
let me try that again. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Okay, so for some reason it just loaded the wrong one. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, this is my first one. This
was just
we
a
have
bonus
Demon
meme.
Slayer. We have Demon Slayer at home. Demon Slayer at home. Hello, I'm Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Dear.
I don't get it.
It's the Nostalgia Critic, but dressed up as like a demon slayer,
Cool.
like a Witchfinder general. Anyway,
Okay.
Anyone else want to join the People Who Talk to Themselves Club? That's 2 members. Me too. Whoa, this club is growing so fast.
Sort of like fairy tale fans
for sure.
talking to every new fan of their franchise.
Not wrong.
So I've been getting into this show.
I don't understand this one, and that's okay.
The girls are Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, the horse racing girls.
With the fun animation in the movie.
Yeah, and you got Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, but I don't understand why Goku and Vegeta...
The animation is like over the top, insanely good. Like, you know, as if it was dragged. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure.
I got it. Thank you.
That joke's be getting around.
Okay.
The job application.
Okay.
It's the new job scare.
Okay.
Switch
Yes.
to released. Already hacked in less than 24 hours.
Yep.
Kanpai Cast did tweet this one out. If you like memes, daily memes, mostly daily memes, you can follow Kanpai Cast on Blue Sky or Twitter or get memes and Discord and get memes.
And the next one, I think I'm bringing back a classic.
Okay.
Can you speak Bocce?
Of course I can, sir. It's like a second language to me. I'm a
All right,
student.
shut up. I'll take this.
Shut up, sir.
His High Exaltedness has decreed that you are to be terminated immediately. You will therefore be taken to the Dune Sea and cast to the powerful Sarlacc.
Doesn't sound so bad.
In his belly, you will find a new definition of pain and suffering as you are slowly digested over the 1,000 years.
Second thought, let's pass on that, huh?
Yeah,
I
I think we have had that before, but it's still good.
Oh, that would have been ages ago.
It would have been it would have been around the time Bocce came out. Yeah.
Yep. My first one.
I'm so weak, and I want to be strong. You're so weak and not strong. Wow, a system that can make me strong and not weak. Arise. Oh my god, you're so hot and strong. I need to see you right now. Spare me, I need to solo level.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Although some of that was obviously second season, and second season didn't win, but it will. Right. Onward.
Anime of the year. Take away the insane fight scenes. What are you sort of loving? Overhyped, bland, poor piss, bad writing. I think it's supposed to be piss poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got a pot to piss in. Right.
This is for Nasuth.
I love this new mobile.
What?
I love this new mobile suit. This new Gundam.
Lol.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
For those of you who have watched G Cluck's episode 7, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I finally decided that I'm getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! What do you mean this card can't be used anymore? It was fully legal 23 years ago! What a read.
That does feel like fair end.
Yep.
Oh god, I'm old.
Pass. 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 Smash.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That Markiplier Smash or Pass genuinely just started something on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's so memeable.
And then my last
Genu, dinner's ready.
Of course, a new one.
So how do you want me, step bro? On a plate or? Oh, come on, Genu. I made your favorite, and I cooked it with extra love. It's so good to be able to spend time with both of you again, especially you, stepson. Gee, thanks, Mom. Bitch.
Can I please just eat my dinner in peace?
Of course, Genu. And maybe after, Mommy can make you some dessert. In my room.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on the dessert.
Oh, come on, Genu. You don't want to do a little mother-stepson bonding?
Look, Mom, I love you. But there's absolutely no way that I would ever... You know what? I'm not even going to say it this time.
Oh, come on!
Yep.
Mommy
The system doesn't care if you say it or not.
Yep.
It knows. It knows that if it doesn't click on the volume bar area, it won't switch back to big people for some reason.
So I'm sure Nasuth noticed. But did you in chat notice? I fixed it, Nasuth. It's now working properly.
Oh, the backgrounds? Yeah. I noticed about halfway through it started to not have to refresh it every 5 seconds.
Oh,
Hilariously, I was going to see if the audience actually realised what the fuck we were talking about, and Nasuth was like, "Oh, that's it." Never mind then. Right, okay.
Yeah,
so
well,
that
now
is it for this
retroactively.
Right, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all very much for watching and or listening. And now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai! I actually did finish my drink.